Dear Pats Nation, it's just about time. Yeah, we're back. You know it's Dear Pats Nation, nation, nation. Yeah, it's Dear Pats Nation, nation, nation. Come on. Yeah, it's Dear Pats Nation. And the show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
And we are back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dear Pats Nation. It's your boy, Toronto's pride and joy, Ray Rout. You're welcome. And of course, we are with my co-host extraordinaire, who's no longer 3 feet away from his camera. He's almost got a proper setup.
Almost.
The resident Boston nerd, as we like to call him here, and self-proclaimed nerd himself, Mr. Producer Mike. One day we'll tell you his last name. Believe it or not, it starts with an N. Mr. Producer Mike N.
Why are you giving stuff away?
Well, today was Victory Monday for a whole bunch of teams around the NFL. A lot of fan bases walking around, big dub, oh, big dub, oh, big dub. Big dub. It wasn't a happy Victory Monday for Pats Nation. It wasn't a Victory Monday if you're a Patriots fan. Did you see the thumbnail that I used for this show tonight?
I did.
The crying Patriots. Was that you crying with Raiders fans laughing at you in the background?
It realistically was, yes.
So, I mean, ultimately, I woke up this morning in just an absolute week one nightmare. The New England Patriots lose. The Buffalo Bills win. The Pittsburgh Steelers win. The Indianapolis Colts win. I mean, the only thing that could have been worse would have been if, like, Miami got a win, but they crapped the bed just as probably worse than New England. But, Mike, let me ask you, like, be honest with you. And I know that our feelings towards certain teams around the NFL, they don't reflect. They're sometimes different. But how much worse did the Patriots' loss feel when you saw the Bills with that miraculous comeback last night? Aaron Rodgers looking like Aaron Rodgers again, leading the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Daniel Dime Jones tossing around the football in Indianapolis. How much worse did the Patriots' loss feel?
The Patriots' loss felt really bad yesterday, especially when I saw two teams, the Jets and the Steelers, right, put up 30 points apiece. And I'm just like, oh, we have to play both of those teams in the next few weeks, and we can still barely put up 10 to 13 points. So, yeah, didn't make me feel too good.
So I knew exactly how you felt going into this game. You and I both said this was a game the Patriots had to win. We both also acknowledged this was a very losable game for New England.
Yep.
We just really wanted the win because if the Patriots had any off shot of securing a wild card position, this was the kind of game they had to win.
Yep.
But the Patriots were who we thought they were.
Exactly.
And they didn't let them off the hook. I'm going to ask you this on behalf of Patriots Nation, not as Ray to Mike.
Right.
Did you honestly believe that the Patriots couldn't lose to the Raiders?
Couldn't lose? No. I was giving them kind of like the 45-55. You know, I thought that better coaching and halftime adjustments would, kind of get them over the hump and lead to that victory. And that is not what happened.
So there was a lot of reaction across Patriots social media.
Yeah.
The fan base falling apart after a week one loss. I saw a lot of there is a large contingent of the fan base who's ready to move on from Mike Vrabel. There's a large contingent of the fan base who is prepared to cut their losses with Drake Maye.
Yep.
A lot of the fan base, I would almost say the majority, and by majority, it could be 51%. That is the majority.
Right.
Have declared Will Campbell a bust of a first-round pick. What a waste. We could have had DK Metcalf. Heard this one before.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you think that this week one loss actually mattered in the big picture of the New England Patriots? Are we just overreacting because people got swept away with preseason hype, $300 million in salaries, and trying to expedite a rebuild, which I think we've seen in the past with this New England Patriots team, with the great Bill Belichick. Spending money doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make the playoffs or compete for a Super Bowl. Do we really care at this point of the season? Should we be judging the progress and the process at this point of the season? Or should we be waiting for week 5, week 10, week 18 and seeing the development? Because, Mike, I'll answer first. In my opinion, it's not how the Patriots start this season. It's how the Patriots end this season. What improvements do we see from the coaching? What improvements do we see from the players? What kind of steps and progress does Drake Maye take as the season goes on? If Drake Maye looks the way he looked week 18 as he looked week 1 against the Raiders, if he shows that inconsistency on the last week of the season, now I'm concerned. Now I'm not seeing progress. But at what point do we care about what the results? I don't even want to say results. I think at this point, I told you last week that the Patriots were not going to make the playoffs this season. And I'm being consistent on that. And I think week 1 proved it. So I don't think results at this point, if we're going to think from a really rational standpoint, results don't matter. It's the product of those results. When do you actually want to start? When do you and I start questioning the process? Because I don't think it's fair after week 1 because we haven't even seen the process yet.
Yeah, I would say I would give it till about Halloween. That's a good benchmark for a lot of people, is like right around that trade deadline. I think you used the right word, right? I think we need to treat this as a process because, again, drawing all these wild conclusions off of week 1, it's not good. I mean, we saw the Patriots win in Cincinnati last year. People were ready to say like, oh, Gerard Mayo has them ready to go to the playoffs, has them like buttoned up, they'll be good to go. And it was just a disaster from there. We've seen Tom Brady and Bill Belichick led teams come out flat in week 1 and then go on to win the Super Bowl. So I don't understand the hype over a week 1 win or loss, to be honest with you. I think we can start to draw some, not conclusions, but we can kind of look at things after about week 3 or 4, right? And say like, okay, we've seen a couple weeks of X product, and then we can start kind of saying like, this doesn't look quite right. They're improving on this. And the other big thing is, I think it depends on the player. Like, we're going to get into Ramondre Stevenson in this game, and I can judge him because he's a veteran player. I'm not going to take any wild swings on Drake Maye, who's played very little football to this point in the grand scheme of things. Excuse me.
Yeah. Do you remember week 1 last season? Do you remember the overreaction from Patriot fans? Yep. Do you remember Patriot fans saying this is a playoff team?
Yep.
I have text messages from a producer on this show. They look good. They look good. And I told you after week 1 last year, it's only week 1.
Yep.
I'm telling you after week 1 this year, it's only week 1. And I think Patriots fans are so desperate to see New England rise to the top again, to be competing for Super Bowl so badly that they actually believed that bringing in Mike Vrabel and having a second-year Drake Maye throwing to Mr. Boutte, which I call him, was going to be enough to propel this team to the playoffs. Last week, Mike, you asked me, how much are the Patriots hurt without Gonzo? And I told you, it's not just him. It's the depth in general. The Patriots do not have the depth to make any kind of run this season. Don't rush the rebuild. Don't rush development. I understand We are fans. Fan is short for fanatic. And when you're a fanatic, you will say fanatic things. What the Patriots need to do is trust the Mike Vrabel process. Don't be the owner of the New England Patriots who believes they should be winning the Super Bowl this year, and understand it is hard to win a championship in the NFL. And whether anybody wants to admit this or not, we are in the era of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Buffalo Bills are kind of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
When you think about the Big Four, and then eventually Denver, which made it the Big Five. When you think about the Patriots' era of dominance, it was New England. It was Indianapolis.
Yep.
It was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it was the Baltimore Ravens. And then when Peyton left Indy,
yep,
it became Denver. Green Bay was always a threat, but a lot of missed opportunities with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Nobody else in the West was a constant, consistent threat outside of Green Bay. We're now in the era where the Kansas City Chiefs are the New England Patriots of yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles are the Indianapolis Colts. The Buffalo Bills are the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe they win one, maybe they don't. Flacco won one. Josh Allen stands.
Yep.
So the Patriots are in a different cycle right now. And I want to remind everybody that through that period when the Patriots were dominating, Buffalo sucked. Kansas City sucked. And now they own the league.
Yeah.
And you got the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow who are kind of floating around there. You've still got Pittsburgh who stays consistent. Mm-hmm. Shout out Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
The Patriots need time. And I know nobody wants to hear this, but the New England Patriots need time. Maybe next year we can start talking about playoff pushes. But this year, all I'm going to say is playoffs? Playoffs? I just want to win a game.
I'm going to segue off that a little bit because you know me, I'm more involved in the draft talk than you are and the day-to-day monotony here of, the Boston media. All these people suggesting like, give up your 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons, give up a first-round pick to get this receiver, give up a first-round pick to get that guy. And they are not in that situation where they can afford to give up draft picks. They just aren't. They're not deep enough. They're not far enough along in their rebuild. And I'm only going to use this excuse once, or I'm going to only try to use it once. Bill Belichick, this is all the fallout from him. Mike Vrabel has a big table to set in front of him as far as rebuilding this roster. They've turned over half this roster in one season. And realistically, there are probably 10 players on this roster that wouldn't be starting on any other team. That is drastic. That's enormous. That's a mountain to climb, whatever verbiage you want to use. I don't think that gets factored into the equation enough here when we talk about their performance week to week.
The Patriots of the Bill Belichick era, you can talk about his drafting all you want. All you want. The draft didn't matter in the last half of the Patriots dynasty. I'm going to be real with you, Mike. Outside of Sony Michel, who had an impact in a Super Bowl, Malcolm Mitchell in one Super Bowl.
Yep.
After the sort of Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins, who's the guy who went nuts on the Chandler Jones.
Yep.
Devin McCourty. Kind of after that draft class, Nate Solder was a part of that. I know they were on
that
all the
era, that like 2012
yeah. After that, the draft didn't matter. You had Tom Brady, you had Julian Edelman, you had Rob Gronkowski.
Right.
You bring in the Chris Hogans, the Danny Amendolas, the angry little troll. You know, you have the Sony Michels. You bring in the LeGarrette Blunts of the world. You hit big with the James Whites, the Shane Vereenes. But you had an established core.
Right.
There is no established core for the New England Patriots right now. Drake Maye is not established by any means. He has not, to this moment, proven that he's going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. He hasn't proven he's not going to be. Don't take my words wrong. Don't twist up that I'm... This isn't... I don't feel about Drake Maye the same way I felt about Mac Jones.
Right. Yep. It's a good way to put it.
Right? Like, I don't feel that way. Right now, he's got lots to prove both ways. I think for me, and I think you're absolutely right, you need to establish a core. I don't know what happened to Kyle Duggar. I don't think you can blame Bill Belichick for that one. That was a pretty good draft pick up until last year.
Yep.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened between the time of Belichick leaving and now. Christian Barmore could be a part of that core.
I think he's... I'm going to throw Gonzo out of this right now. He might be Bill's last best draft pick. And he's, injuries, the blood clots. I'll still put him in there. He's a good player.
Yeah, but there's no core at this point. There's no... I used to come on here in 2017, 2016, 2018, right, and I used to talk about my boy, my favorite Patriot of all time, Dante Hightower. We used to talk about the Kyle Van Noys. We used to talk about the Landon Roberts. Bring back Jamie Collins. Chandler Jones off the edge. Who was that other big defensive player? He went to the Lions.
Trey
Flowers. You had Devin McCourty. You always had a slew of safeties hanging around in the back.
Yeah, Daron Harmon, all those dudes. Yep.
Yeah. Patrick Chung.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? You had that leadership core on the defensive side. You go back a little earlier, you had Vince Wilfork.
Right.
Who was there. And I'm talking second half Patriots because we could get into the Vrabel era. I'm talking second half Patriots. So you had the defensive core. Then you look on the other side of it and you had Tom Brady, obviously. Mm-hmm. Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski. For a while, Logan Mankins. Nate Solder for a long time. But when you look when the Patriots won the Super Bowl, what did they do? They went out and got Darrelle Revis. They would go out and they went out and got Bennett in 16.
Yeah, they'd add like a piece.
Yeah.
A single piece.
The Patriots are not in single piece territory here.
No, not even close.
If you think back to Tom Brady's last season, I remember I was up at a conference in October. And I was sitting there and I look at my phone and I'm with my boss at the time and he's a Green Bay Packer fan. And I look at my phone and he's looking at his phone. We both look at each other and we're both looking at the headlines. The New England Patriots have traded for Mohamed Sanu. And he looked at me and said, "You guys are going to win the Super Bowl." Because adding a piece like Mohamed Sanu felt like you're going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
The Patriots had Josh Gordon. They had Edelman. They had Gronk. They had that core that was there.
Yep.
And then, of course, it all fell apart. It all went away. The Patriots aren't there. So all I can say 20 minutes later is trust the process. But let's talk about Drake Maye. Let's talk about this Raiders game.
Sure.
Let's start with the positive. What impressed you about Drake Maye's performance against the Raiders?
Nothing.
Okay,
I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I mean that like I think he was just very middling, like unimpressive. Like there was nothing that was like, wow, he did this. Other than maybe I'll give him like the pass to Hunter Henry, and he is finding a connection with Booty. which I don't know if the pass to Henry was 100% intentional, but those are the kinds of things you need to see from your quarterback to go like, oh, he is a guy, right? Like he finds a guy, like gotta have it, tight window. I'll give him a couple of those throws. Other than that, generally, and again, like you said before, I don't mean to kill him or shut him down. I think he's going to have a lot better weeks for me to go like, this was impressive. This is where he needs to be. This shows that he's taken a step forward.
So I have an interesting little take here on Drake Maye.
Okay.
Something I noticed, and it's funny, a friend of mine who's not a Patriots fan texted me this during the game, and I was already thinking it myself.
Mm-hmm.
There was a play, Drake Maye held onto the football, he was running.
Yep.
And he slid.
Yep.
And I felt like he could have got 4 more yards on the play and picked up the first down or came very close to it. It was a second down play.
Yep.
And he gave himself up. He would have got smacked. Like he wouldn't have gotten out of bounds, or he would have got smacked. And I fight with myself on this because there's a part of me that thinks I want you to fight for those 3 or 4 yards. Try to pick up that first down. Yep. You're kind of in a slugfest at this time. It was in the first half. You're in this slugfest. Like, show some grit.
Yeah, I felt the same.
At the same time, do we want to see him retire at 30 years old like Andrew Luck? Because he's just getting hammered. Do we want to see him like Cam Newton or Tua Tagovailoa, who's out with concussions?
Yeah.
You know, and so I fight with this. I think there was times that Drake Maye could have ran and didn't. Mm. I think there was times that he held onto the football too long.
Yep.
I'll tell you what concerned me about Drake Maye. And this is long-term concern. This isn't a Raiders game. This is long-term concern.
Yep.
What did he start last year? Like 10 games?
Not even. I think it was
8 games, 6 games, 8 games.
Yeah.
But he's got some NFL experience behind him.
Right.
He did not look poised to me at all.
No.
And that was concerning. And I think at this point of who you are as a quarterback, there should have been a little bit more poise. It's going to be something interesting to watch moving forward. And I'll be curious to see how he progresses.
Can I be real with you on this? So to your point, let's game this out a little bit. Max Crosby, I think, went into a mission after the half and basically said, or Pete Carroll said, whoever, the defensive coordinator said, you know what, we've given them enough space. Go get the quarterback. And I think you saw him go from like a little jittery, kind of aware that Max Crosby is on his right side there to like, oh, Max is in my face. Like Max Crosby didn't really get I think he got 1 sack on the day, but after the second half, he was just in Maye's face. That led to the, interception and all that. You're going to face a pass rusher like that pretty much every week. So you have to get used to it. You're going to play the Jets, have a great defense. You're going to have Miami. They have a decent interior defensive line. You're going to play Pittsburgh, TJ Watt, obviously. It's not going to get any better. So that's something that Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels have to settle him down on. They need, and that's part of them coming up with a better game plan and a better approach to protect him in those situations.
But so here's my thing on it. Here's my counter argument.
Yep.
And we will talk about Vrabel. We will talk about Josh McDaniels. Because I think there's a couple of points that we need to discuss, especially around Vrabel punting the football. Yeah. I know people are very passionate about that, but I'm actually going to defend him on that call. Here's my concern, Mike. I don't want to be a Drake Maye hater at this point of his career. I could have told you at this point in Mac Jones' career he was going to be a wash. I really felt that strongly. You know I did.
Yeah, you did. Yep. I know you did, because you and I fought about it, because I said he was going to be Kirk Cousins at the very least, and there was a big debate that ensued.
I'm not ready. I guess I already said at the top, I'm not ready to write off Drake Maye. I think there's still a lot I like about Drake Maye as a quarterback.
Yep.
But I'm getting Sam Darnold vibes. I'm getting... You should not have to scheme for the quarterback. I know that sounds so stupid, but I hope everybody understands what I mean. Like, you can't teach poise. You can't teach... If you have to call a game based on keeping your quarterback comfortable, then you better be okay with 30 handoffs a game and a lot of play action and a lot of dinking and dunking and quick slants, almost similar to what we saw against the Raiders, except probably not enough running of the football. I would have liked to see them put the ball on the ground a little bit more, but I think Ramondre Stevenson screwed that up, and we'll get to that. And I just... Did you not feel like he was seeing ghosts?
I think he was in the second half. The thing that has me torn on this is that did not seem like Drake from last year, and he was under siege in some games last year. So I don't know if this is a one-off. I don't know if this is some combination of like the McDaniels offense has him doing too much at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he's thinking too much right now. I don't know what it is, because that's not the Drake Maye I saw last year that was like, what do I do? Where do I go? You know, he would either like run forward, throw the ball, or, you know, throw it out of bounds. And
Or
that was just not the guy I saw last year.
Or is he ruined?
I don't.
He got hit more than any other quarterback in the NFL last season. I mean, before him, there was nobody I felt sorry for more than Jacoby Brissett, who just was an absolute crash test dummy. And then you brought in Drake Maye, who I told you when they brought in Drake Maye, this kid should not be seeing the field this year.
No.
I said that to you 1,000 times. I said, if you want to ruin a young quarterback, put him out there to get killed.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to say he's ruined. I don't think that's what it is. I honestly think they're just having him do too much right now. And I think that all factored in the lights of the first game of the year, the high expectations. I think this is a Vrabel thing. He's going to go like, settle down, kid. You know, there's that famous clip of, Bill, when they're in the throwbacks going to Tom Brady, like, settle down out there, Tom. And Tom Brady's yelling at him like, I am settled down. And he's like, what about the throw that went over such and such's head?
It was in his hands. It was in his hands.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it happens. Listen, he's a 21-year-old quarterback. At this point in his career, Josh Allen was a bum. He's got to develop. He just has to.
But I'm going to tell you I'll give you my overall arching concern. It's not even a Drake Maye issue. I don't think it's a Mike Vrabel issue. I don't think it's a Josh McDaniels issue. I believe the expectations coming from the owner's box
too high
is we make the playoffs this year. I think Vrabel saw Gerard Mayo get one season. I'm telling you, Mike, over the last 5 years, I would say right up until Brady, like I'd say starting from Brady's final season forward, the owner of the New England Patriots is becoming a problem.
You could be right on that. And again, I'm trying to remove my Josh McDaniels hate from this because I think it's an overall directive from Vrabel. I think they're trying to coach the running out of Maye right now because they go like, we know you can run. And to your point, like maybe they don't want him running right now because they're like, this isn't a team that's going to get to the Super Bowl. Don't get yourself knocked out for 6 weeks because that'll hurt your development even more. But the indecisive running yesterday, I was like, you're taking away one of his superpowers. Now, it may be with good reason, but you're taking away one of his superpowers, which is to use his legs and get that first down.
Well, let's talk about Vrabel's directive because I think this ties into everything. What was your gut reaction when Vrabel punted on 4th and 10 down by 2 scores late in the game?
I mean, my gut reaction was, this is terrible. Like, this reminds me of something Bill Belichick would have done his last 2 years here. They're down 2 or 3 scores. You're punting. In hindsight, I don't think it was as bad as I thought it was, it was in the moment.
I think Mike Vrabel already knew the game was over.
Yeah.
I think that Mike Vrabel looked at that and said, this game's already over. The best chance I have is my defense going out and doing something.
Yeah.
When Will Campbell false started, I knew immediately they were going to punt the football.
Yeah.
I knew immediately.
Yep.
I don't think that Vrabel had an ounce of trust in his offense to pick up the first down at 4th and 10. Did they have more than 3 10-yard plus passes that whole game?
Probably not, because they didn't do much in the second half at all.
No. And I think that, to me, it was the right decision. You've got a kid who's, I'm going to tell, like I said, this is why I'm getting the Darnold vibes. Not that he's going to be a bust. And I hope nobody, I know there are Patriot fans taking me wrong right now, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. But you've got a kid who you could see it. His confidence was shattered, Mike.
Yeah.
The worst thing he could do there, in that situation of 4th and 10, they're just going to send the house at him.
Yep.
And if they do that, then they're screwed. And he's going to throw an interception, and now you're playing a whole bunch of different stuff. I think back to the Kansas City Chiefs blowing out the Patriots on Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick knowing at halftime the game was over. There was no halftime adjustments.
Right.
He just wanted to see his team compete. And I think that's where Mike Vrabel was in that game. I think he knew we're probably not going to win this, even though it's a 2-score game. We're probably not going to win this. I didn't say he stopped trying.
Right.
But there was no point at that point to go for it. And if that's 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and Tom Brady's the quarterback, and Rob Gronkowski's on the field, and Julian Edelman's on the field, heck, if Brendan LaFella's on the field,
Meh.
James White or Shane Vereen coming out of the backfield, if they're on the field, and you've got Logan Mankins and David Andrews and Brown?
Yeah, Trent Brown.
Trent Brown protecting Brady. Marcus Cannon, like young Marcus Cannon.
Yeah.
I'm flipping if they're punting the ball in that situation, because that's prime Brady magic time.
Right. You're not punting the ball there.
But I'm with you on one big key piece. Josh Allen was a brutal quarterback at this point of his career. He was awkward. All he could do was run and put his shoulder down. And now, probably the second best quarterback in the NFL.
He looked like the best last night.
No, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback.
Oh, I know.
Let's not be ridiculous.
I'm just saying, small sample size.
So let's talk about Josh McDaniels.
Oh, boy.
Here's what I'm going to say. And I know you know my thoughts because you saw my thread today.
Yeah.
I'm holding off judgment on McDaniels at this moment. I think what part of his play calling do you believe would have significantly changed that game?
Nothing.
Exactly. No matter what he
Nothing.
would have done, it would not have changed the outcome.
Yeah. I'll let you finish and then I'll play off that.
I know you didn't like them running the ball up the middle.
Yeah.
But at some point, Ramondre Stevenson has to break a tackle.
Yep.
And he wouldn't. And he couldn't. And if you looked at the Raiders' second touchdown, it was off a running back breaking a tackle. And I wrote that to you. Isn't it amazing what can happen when you're running back and break a tackle?
Yeah. Yep.
Right? At some point, you have to drag a defender. That's what good running backs do. That's what guys who want to be the franchise running back are. The only thing that irked me, and this could have been a Vrabel directive and not a Josh McDaniels directive, Henderson should have got more touches.
Yeah.
Because he was actually putting in up positive yardage whenever you get the ball. I think Ramondre Stevenson was averaging like 2.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. I had the stats up before. Hold on, 18 attempts for 60 yards and 0 rush attempts in the second half. They tried to dump it off to the backs in the second half. They didn't try any handoffs.
No, they tried to turn the running, but because they couldn't get the run game going.
Right.
And if you want to talk about scheming and protecting Drake Maye,
yep,
you need a running game.
Exactly. Yep.
Can I remind everybody that in 2014 when the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, right? Malcolm Butler interception. What happened twice against the Indianapolis Colts?
We ran all over them.
Jonas Gray ran for like 250 yards.
Yeah.
Never to be seen again. And then LeGarrette Blount
plowed them
with a deflated football.
Yeah.
Ran up and down the field. That's what
destroyed them. Yeah.
That's what the GOAT behind center.
Right.
That's what the GOAT.
And those are serviceable running backs. Like those are not like you're not talking about like Derrick Henry.
Can you pull up LeGarrette Blount's stats
for 2014? Yeah.
Yeah, and I know they're going to be skewed because he came in late into the season. He was a Steeler to start that year.
Yeah.
Was it the next season though that he dragged the Pittsburgh Steelers like 10 yards with the entire team hanging on him?
2014. Yeah, he started with Pittsburgh, so he must have not played that much that year because it says he only had.
He came in very late. He got cut late in the season. The Patriots signed him. Give me 2015. Give me 2015.
So 2015, he had 700 yards with New England.
With New England, with Tom Brady as the quarterback.
Wait, okay, but then in 2016 with New England, he had almost 1,200 yards rushing. So I think that's the season you're thinking of.
Thank you. So but 14 yes, you're right. 15 is when he came in late, and then 16 was his full season.
Yeah.
So you have the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, who's playing probably the best football he ever played, and you had a 700 and 1,200 yard running back on the team.
Yeah,
because that's how you win football games.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't a run heavy team. They were still a pass heavy team. But when you establish the run, Drake Maye becomes that much more scary and becomes that much more dangerous to other oppositions. They had to abandon the run because the run wasn't working. As soon as they abandoned the run, guys like Kuntz, who had a good game, by the way.
He did.
After you laughed at him when I said he was going to be a problem. And Max Crosby had a field day. And you know what? Shout out Moses, because Moses did a pretty good job with Max Crosby, considering.
Yeah, his stats on paper weren't very good, but other than the one hit, he really prevented him from doing a lot, significant damage. Yeah.
And just before, because we are going to have Kevin Gerard coming in a couple of minutes, our buddy, old school friend of the show, coming in to talk about the Miami Dolphins. I do want to talk about Will Campbell if we can.
Sure.
One second.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. I tried to mute myself and it didn't work. Will Campbell had a hell of a job that he had to do, and I'm gonna defend a lineman here. I want to point out there, Mike can talk about it. Was I ever a Cole Strange fan?
No, never. Not once.
Was I ever happy with him on the team?
Never, not once.
Would I have been happy if he was a 5th round pick?
Maybe.
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe if I knew he's going to be the 2nd or 3rd stringer and they were just
you wouldn't,
developing
because
him.
you wouldn't have cared. You wouldn't have cared at that point.
Correct. But would I ever have been happy that Cole Strange is a New England Patriot?
No, because the answer is if he was on the field, somebody else that was better was probably hurt at that point.
When Will Campbell was drafted, was I happy?
Yes.
And I'm still happy. And I'm going to defend a fellow lineman here for a minute. Going from college football to having to take on Kuntz to start your NFL career is a jump.
Yeah.
Is a jump. Number 2, and I wish I had a skilled guy here because he would agree with me. It is easier for a wide receiver to incorporate himself into a scheme than it is for an offensive lineman, even a veteran offensive lineman. It takes time. Mm-hmm. Will Campbell, he's got some issues. We knew he had some issues coming in, but he's not a T-Rex. He's got big hands. He's got good arms. Love his footwork. He just needs time. Will Campbell will be a monster on that left side for Drake Maye at some point. It would be nice if they had another reliable tackle
playing right now
that could substitute in and out for Campbell. I think he needs game time. You need game time.
Yeah.
Do I think he should be an every down left tackle at this point of his career? No. But one day that kid will be signing a $15, $16 million contract. I'm telling you, have some patience with him. Just like I'm going to have patience with Drake Maye. I hope nobody took what I was saying about Drake Maye as my same Mac Jones hate. It wasn't at all. I was just talking about noticeable concerns that we need to note and watch as the season goes on. The amount of hate that Will Campbell got from Patriots fans was disgusting in my eyes. Disgusting.
Yeah, for a rookie to do about as well as he did, I'm very impressed. And yeah, it was a rough end. You know, he got basically the 2 back-to-back sack penalty. I think he had 2 sacks on the night. And again, being a rookie, getting tested, your first game, not even like your 5th game of your rookie season. He was better than anybody they had last year. Period. End of story.
No, I 100% agree. And I just think everybody needs to chill F out a little bit. It was a good learning experience for him. Mm-hmm. And the reaction to it was unbelievable. And the reaction from the Boston media was unbelievable.
Yep.
And I think that there was times that kid actually had some good moments where it was like, you know, he had a couple of good blocks.
I think if you had a veteran guard next to him, if it wasn't the 2 rookies, he'd probably be even better off too. I think that's really Herculean what they're doing right now is basically like, oh yeah, we got 2 rookies on the left side. Deal with it. Have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, as you said, there are people on this starting team, this starters that are starters that would not be a starter for almost any other team in the NFL right now.
No, you think Jared Wilson's going to be starting at left guard? No way. No way.
And it goes back to the very beginning. In Pats Nation, I cannot stress this enough. The New England Patriots are not one piece away from going to the playoffs or being a Super Bowl contender. They need another draft. They need their current draft picks and young players to develop. Christian Gonzalez's durability concerns me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very, considering they're building the defense around him. And, you know, yesterday's game, I don't want to harp on this, but Jabril Peppers really could have helped.
The defense made some key stops yesterday, but on second look, you know, you can make a lot of key stops, but you can also give up some devastatingly long passes, especially Carlton Davis. You're paying a lot of money to him. to let up. I think he let up 2 of the big games on the night and
Yeah.
basically got fooled. I'm not going to jump the gun on that one because you and I were talking way back when Stephon Gilmore joined the team and he had those horrendous games. And I was like, why did they pay this guy all this money, cut his ass? And he turned out pretty good. So I'll hold back judgment for him, but it was a bad game. It was a bit.
Well, I would actually say it was a bad play by him, and it was the game sealer, and I don't know how he bit on that inside move and got caught staring in the backfield on a play when it was 3rd and forever.
Yeah.
But there was a lot, okay? Like I know, like everybody was flipping on McDaniels. It's 3rd and 23?
Yeah.
Why are you sending the house in that situation? Like there was just I don't understand everything that,
because if they didn't send the house, Geno Smith could unpack a picnic table back there, eat lunch, and freaking find Brock Bowers down in the end zone while he was drinking a cup of coffee. Like
I understand that, and shout out to Bowers is
elite
is an elite player. But look, I was not surprised by what happened. The Patriots are not a playoff team. I said it last week on the episode. This isn't me reacting just to the Raiders game. Last week, Mike, I said to you that if the Patriots wanted any chance, they had to win this game, but I called it a toss-up. And for a lot of the game, or for the first half, it was a toss-up. And then it all just got away. A game that was not a toss-up yesterday was the Miami Dolphins game.
No.
I do not expect that same sort of devastating performance this week round. But to talk about it, we got our boy back from, well, I guess we're back from the dead. I was going to say he's never left. We left. But I am so excited to have him back on the call. Please welcome Kevin Gerard. Kevin, what's going on, brother?
Man, that was an applause fit for Nick Folk himself.
Tough day to be a Dolphins fan.
That was like, oh man, I can't remember a worse. Like that was, especially with the expectations. Like I don't think we're gonna be the super, a great team this year. But I thought the Colts were a bad team. That was awful. That's the worst opener I can remember in, I don't know, worse than the tank year with Flores, because at least we expected to be crap. It was awful.
So Patriots, Dolphins, week 2 in Miami. There's no way that Miami has a repeat performance with all the turnovers and stuff, right?
I don't know, man. Like it was like we lost. We already had a miserable offensive line, and we lost the right tackle and the right guard. They're both not playing this week. Austin Jackson, and then our big free agent signing, James Daniels, who we were super excited about because he's been a pretty good guard for Chicago and Pittsburgh, and we think he actually is going to fit the wide zone scheme that we have better. So we're like, this is the year. He's going to be awesome. He lasted 3 plays. We had 1 kickoff and 3 offensive plays. We lost the kick returner, and we lost the who eventually came back in the 4th. Well, I don't know why. And we lost the right guard for 3 to 4 weeks. And then at the end, when we scored that brilliant touchdown where it's 4th down and McDaniels throws a behind-the-line swing pass, which somehow miraculously worked, we lost Austin Jackson maybe for the year.
Wow. Yikes.
So not a happy day at a Hard Rock Stadium is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, we were at the RCA.
Yeah, I get it. Lucas Oil Stadium.
And I was worried about it a little bit because that was the big, tribute to Jim Irsay, and it was, a very emotional game for those guys. So I kept saying like, oh, they're going to come out real fast, and you just got to weather the storm, and then as long as you can shut Jonathan Taylor down, you should be able to shut them down. Well, Taylor had 74 yards, and they still put up 38 points.
Well, I've actually been a pretty big supporter of Daniel Jones over the years. I thought that he was never put in a position to succeed. Mm-hmm. I still don't think he is. I have no faith in the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know how they did what they do. I hate the Colts, by the way. I hate the Colts more than I hate the Dolphins, just so you know. Like, I don't actually hate the Dolphins. I have three teams I hate. And I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers because their fans are illiterate. I hate the Indianapolis Colts for many reasons. And I live in Bills country, so I hate the Buffalo Bills.
Oh.
And it's just,
And that was the worst part, last night, too. It's just the cherry on top of this.
Well,
kudos to them. Fuck, I hate them. Sorry, I shouldn't have sworn.
Well, the Patriots, if you watch the second half, didn't have much of a better result. It was a tale of two halves. Drake Maye, Josh McDaniels, Vrabel's defense, it all got exposed in the second half. When you look at this Patriots Miami game, it's a toss-up. I think Miami's like a 1.5 point favorite to open up the week. Do you see this as the comeback week for Miami? I mean, Tua, I think, had 114 yards last week and yesterday and a couple of interceptions. Is this the comeback week, or do the Patriots give Pat's Nation a little bit of false hope that this team could actually accomplish something?
Man, I don't know, man. It was so bad yesterday. Like, it was so bad that you want to say, can't be that bad again. You know what I mean? Like, even when they got like a stop, for your boy Matt Judon runs into the punter, continues the drive, and they went for another like 3 minutes. I think we had the ball for like 0.3 seconds in the first half. It was like it was unreal. It was just like short pass, short pass, short pass, short pass. And then we're like, we finally get the stop. And then we're like, Judon runs into the punter, and then they go all the way down for another like 8-minute field goal or something. Like, it was bad. So I'm hoping, Tua's never lost to you guys, which, not because of him, but that's just the thing. Like, if he loses that, I don't know what he's got left, man. Like, he had nothing on his ball, like nothing. He's not a strong arm guy, and it was the weakest I'd seen. It was the worst he's ever played since maybe 2022 against Tennessee, when it was like really cold and he was like skipping balls to receivers like he was trying to skip stones across a pond. It was difficult to watch.
What's the Tyreek Hill situation look like down there? Because there's a lot of rumor mill going on that he might get traded at some point this year if things go badly.
Well, they wanted to trade him this year, but they couldn't. No one wanted him, right? Okay. Like, if at that contract. So he's got 1 year left in his contract. So next year's his last year. But next year it's like $45 million or something, right? So if no one's taking him for that, it was one of those. We always knew he was probably gonna be gone because it was a bullcrap year they threw on at the end of the contract where none of it's guaranteed. But it's just to inflate so the agent can say, hey, he made $30 million a year. He doesn't really make $30 million a year. They put 45 at the end, 0 of it guaranteed. So it was tough to trade him because of his salary. It's tough to trade him because you never know when he's going to get arrested. It's tough to trade him because he quit on his team, right? Like, maybe the Chiefs take him. He's also 30, and instead of like trying to rehab his image, he's out there trying to like race Noah Lyles. Like, it's just everything about him. He's just such a douchebag. Like, at least we always knew he was a douchebag, but he used to be 1,800 yards in a douchebag. It's a little more palatable there. But who knows? Like, I think he's smart enough to know that this is his last year with Miami, so he better like put on the good face publicly because. If he wants a good contract next year, because if he shits the bed again, he's not getting any money. So for him, it's almost like a contract year because he's gone at the end of this year.
But in reality, when it comes to Tyreek Hill, and I think you nailed it on the head when you said, is he going to get arrested again? What's he going to do with his image? Is there a team out there that's going to want to take a risk and give him a big contract?
Chiefs, maybe, if it's like 1 or 2 year. Because the Chiefs, they've dealt with him before. If he goes back there, he'll probably shut up. It's the same thing. Remember the Terrell Owens? Every year he'd go to a new team. He'd be a model citizen for the 1 year. Everyone thinks he's great. And then the next year, the problems would start. I think that's Tyreek. But I think if the Chiefs do it, they do it knowing, hey, Kelsey's at the end of his year. At the end, this is a push in. Actually, I see someone put Steelers. It's not a bad destination because they did just sign, or they did a couple of trades there with him in the summer. But I don't know, man. Like, you'd have to have a decent amount of cap, and then you'd have to be like a playoff team. You know what I mean? Why would you trade for a 31-year-old receiver?
So you're saying the Patriots next year's first ought to get it done? That's
Yeah,
what I
like
heard.
him and Diggs with a race to retirement.
Well, it's funny you say that because last week I asked Mike, I said, is Diggs still like a wide receiver 1, or is he just like a really good number 2? And Mike's like, we got to see, but I think he's still, a 1. And I got a text halfway through like, yeah, he's definitely a 2. He's definitely.
I drafted him in 2 pools because I thought just like target share, you know what I mean? But he's a guy that's like, I think he would be at an amazing 2, but I think upstairs he hasn't accepted that. And I think that it's kind of like Antonio Brown there when he went to the Bucks, like he still thinks he's the star. So when he's not, eventually something's gonna brew there, I think.
Did Miami miss their window of opportunity? Like, are you guys starting to go down on the slide, or is just?
Oh my God, yeah. The window was 2 years ago when they had the number 1 seed in the AFC. All they had to do was beat a piss poor Titans team on Monday Night Football. They went up like 17 points, and if they did that, they clinched the division, right? Their whole story would have been changed. And somehow they blew that game to friggin' what's his name? Mayonnaise there, guy.
Will Levis.
Will Levis. Somehow they engineered this insane comeback. And everyone was like, well, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. Because after that, then they ended up getting eviscerated by Baltimore in what was supposed to be the winner wins number 1 seed. And then they had to play the Bills for the last game of the year for the division. And the Bills won that on the most unbelievable bullshit game I've ever seen. Do you remember this game? This is the game where they Bills scored 3 touchdowns. One of them, Josh Allen threw a ball. It hit a lineman in the helmet, bounced 30 feet straight up in the air, and landed to ex-Dolphin receiver Trent Sherfield in the end zone as he tip-taps in for a touchdown. I've never seen it before. It hit the lineman right in the head, bounced straight up and landed into a Bills thing. And then the last touchdown they got was the 90-yard punt return touchdown, where a Miami Dolphin is running down the field to cover, okay, a professional athlete. No one touches it. And his leg just snaps. Like his leg just breaks without being contacted. But this asshole can't even fall straight down. He somehow teeters into Ingold beside him, creating this massive hole that they run through for a touchdown. Anyways, that was it. So then instead of hosting like a crappy, like I forget who was there, maybe it was like a crappy Steelers team or whatever, at home in Miami where they'd have a good chance to win at least a playoff game before they got bounced out by Baltimore or KC, they had to go on the road to KC, and that was the coldest game in NFL history. That was
I remember that game.
People had frostbite and were getting amputations afterwards that were in the crowd. That's where they put Miami. You know what I mean? That was it. And after that, the next year, last year, the Tua missed 6 games. They went 6-2 to close the year, but he missed the last 2 games because he got hurt again with the hip, and they missed by a game or whatever. But the window's over. So now it's time Tua realistically has this year and probably next year, because at the end of next year, if they cut him after that, there's a nice out and contractually. So my guess is they'll draft a QB first round this year and then let him sit for a few games till Tua plays, 6-7 games before they inevitably usher him out and they put in the new guy. Then they'll cut Tua at the end of the year.
Is Mike McDaniel still a golden boy in Miami, or are Dolphins fans getting a little restless?
Done. They all want him out. And the reason they want him out is because he seemed like he's the antithesis, of Brian Flores, but at the same time, the exact same thing. He's the offensive version, right? So Flores came in. He's a brilliant defensive mind. He's really good as a defensive coordinator. Couldn't lead a team worth of crap. Now his way is because this guy came in like an asshole and he tried to act like Bill Belichick with none of the success or gravitas of a bunch of rings. And the players didn't respond. They kicked him out. McDaniel comes in as the offensive guru, and he's the opposite. He's running it like Club Med. Well, he thinks the players should police themselves, which in a real world, he'd be correct. However, these are 26-year-old narcissistic millionaire, kids who have had everything handed to them their whole lives. So surprisingly, in South Beach, Florida, they don't behave well. But it's the same thing, right? I think that Flores went, and he's doing really well as defensive coordinator for the Vikings. Eventually, they'll give him another shot, and maybe he'll be better a second time around. I think maybe the same thing for McDaniel. He'll go somewhere else and be an outstanding offensive coordinator, but the guy can't run a team. Like, he can't run a team. It's been 4 years now, and the same problems he had in the first year, which is lining up correctly, getting the play in time. Watch next week. Watch against you guys. Watch how many times Tua seems to be the only one who understands what the play is, and he's yelling at Tyreek Hill, who's been there for 4 years and can't figure out where to line up. Like, it's insane. Like, there's no improvement in that regard. And
They'll still beat us. They'll get all of that out of the way for a week to beat us. They'll be perfect.
It's been a year since Tyreek Hill's had a 30-plus yard catch.
He'll have a 45-yard catch this week.
So last week, or on yesterday, the Patriots gave up 9 20-plus yard plays. Yeah. 9.
Gonzalez was out?
Gonzo was out, yes.
And he's back for us. Everyone gets counting in time for Miami. He'll be back. He'll be suited up. Won't even have a limp. Yeah.
He's one guy, though. I mean, I think this defense is Christian Barmore, Landry, and Gonzalez. And that, I mean, Hawkins had a very inconsistent game, and I think we're going to see that out of him. Carl, or what's his name, Mike? You have more faith in him than
Milton Williams, Carlton Davis.
Davis, you have more faith in him than I do. I will say, though, that Kevin has always been a very optimistic Dolphins fan towards the Patriots. He's always talked me off the ledge. When first time I ever met Kevin, I screamed at him, "No, we're shit! Stop telling me that we're good." I got so mad at him because he kept telling me that we're okay. The Patriots will be okay. What system does McDaniels come from? Or does
Shanahan? So
he's Shanahan's system. Okay.
Yeah, he's a Shanahan guy. So he was the run coordinator for San Francisco, and then he was the offensive coordinator. And then eventually they hired him in Miami. So that's the irony. He was a run game coordinator. And in Miami, so the opening play, we run a run play. It goes for 9 yards. He doesn't call that play again until the third quarter. Now, I know the game script got away from him, but, like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be a run. That was the whole thing. We spent all offseason trying to defeat this narrative. We signed James Daniels. We drafted Jonas Savaianaya, the guard, in the second round. We got last year the center. His name escapes me right now. We got him from Tennessee. I don't know why I can't think of him, but he's really good. Watch, he's like one of the only good guys in our line. And this whole thing was drafted Ollie Gordon. Like, it was supposed to be a recommitment to the run, but with some inside zone and duo and stuff like that, so that we can not, everyone was just running outside and trying to bottle up the outside contain. So we tried to do this, and we get into the game, and he runs one play with a 180-pound running back up the middle, goes for 9 yards, and he's like, "No, I'm good. We won't call that for the next half."
Cole Strange was available. I'm surprised you guys didn't pick him up. It was
at this point, send me Jabril Peppers. Like, it's a disaster back there. Can't be worse. We had a guy playing called Storm Duck. Okay, it's over. Like, there's no. Like, you're like, well, and I'm like, we have someone called Storm Duck. Okay, this guy didn't know how to play cover 2.
That's amazing. That's well, the Patriots could have used Jabril Peppers against the Raiders, which I said before the Raiders game, and I will say after the Raiders games. I still don't understand that play. Other than I do believe that Mike Vrabel's already written off this season. I really do. I do believe. I didn't see the Patriots a playoff team. I think he knows he's not a playoff team. I think it's development year, and it's like let's let the young kids cook, or let's let the young kids play, and you know they're going to screw up, and we're going to lose, and it is what it is. So give me your best prediction: Dolphins or Patriots?
Oh, Patriots. So Drake Maye is going to look like the second coming of Josh Allen next week. Wait till you see it. It's not. I've never seen. I think I could put together a touch football team that could play zone concepts better than what we did last week. Like not to get like too into the weeds. Like there was one play in particular. It's 4th down and 2. Okay, the Colts have Josh Downs, their best receiver, in the slot. And we, for some reason, run a 0 blitz and have a fucking safety trying to rotate up to cover him. Well, guess what? He runs a 3-yard out. And it was like a dad throwing a nice Sunday pass to his 5-year-old son in the flat, just drifted it in there. Why not? He's got all day. We got a guy coming from 20 yards away to cover it. It was the stupidest call I've ever seen. It's going to be, and we can't stop a running quarterback. So there you go. Anyone who's got Maye in fantasy, start him next week.
Well, the good news for Miami is I think the Patriots are doing everything they can not to have him run. So that could be a plus side for Miami. That was something that we saw last week, and he's going down early. He's not taking contact, and he's given himself up very, very early. There was a play in the first half where I thought he could have picked up another 4 or 5 yards and put himself down. I think they're telling him not to take contact. I think why? Because I think that Vrabel knows there's no reason to put your body through that when this team is not going to compete for a Super Bowl this year. Mike made a good point when the show started. He said there's at least 5 players on each side of the ball that wouldn't start for any other team in the NFL that's playing for the Patriots right now. So there's the Patriots are in a rebuild, and you got a young quarterback. And I've said to Mike, I struggle with the going down early and not running the ball because I want to see that kind of grit from my quarterback, but at the same time, do I want an Andrew Luck who retires at 30 because he's just been so beat up that he can't play anymore? So I think they might be taking the right approach. I think they're taking a very conscious approach. The big problem that the Patriots had against the Raiders was they could not get the run game going. There's obviously interior problems with the Patriots offensive line. And Ramondre Stevenson, for whatever reason, couldn't break a tackle.
Couldn't break a tackle. Every time he plays the Dolphins, he breaks 62.
Well, I was going to ask, do you think the Patriots have a chance to run on the Dolphins, or is that interior still strong enough to keep him back?
I think Mike Vrabel could catch a touchdown in this game. It's bad. Like I can't. So the whole thing with Miami was their defense. We knew the secondary is going to be a sieve because it's a couple of bums we picked up at the trade deadline. Minkah Fitzpatrick on the way down and Storm Duck. You know what I mean? Like
that's still got to be the best name in football, though. Like, can we just be honest?
Starting a 5th round rookie, right at nickel. We were like, you know what? I don't think we're going to keep Mike Hilton. He's too effective. We'll start this 5th round rookie who had a 1/4 of effective play against third stringers in preseason, and now Mike Hilton's going to go sign with the Eagles and win a championship. So thanks. And then we're like, we got Jack Jones, CB1. Right
oh, there we go. He's good.
And then
Jack Jones.
Yeah.
When he's not smuggling guns.
They say he's another guy. If he's not getting arrested, could be effective for you.
Yeah, I'm sure him and Tyreek must see TV and one-on-ones. And then I got the corpse of Rasul Douglas out there in the other corner, who's been with the team for 2 weeks, doesn't know the scheme, still came out and outperformed Storm Duck. because at least he understands what a friggin' zone defense is. I've got walking medical injury. Iffy Melifonwu from Detroit is our safety now, paired up with Minka. This guy gets hurt falling into bed. You know what I mean? So he's got like maybe a half a football left before Mr. Glass takes the cart home. But the whole thing was supposed to be, we had this front seven. You know what I mean? That was the thing. It was the backbone, because one guy I love for you guys to look out for is Jordan Brooks. Oh, I love that guy. Number 20, middle linebacker. He's awesome, and he's a dog. Like he gets mad when teammates are happy. Like he's like, no, we're supposed to be angry the whole time. So I like that guy. And then we were supposed to have all the ends, right? Because you're like, our 4 edge rushers are. It's Chop Robinson, who had a good rookie season. Well, let me rephrase. He had a really good second half of the rookie season. Looked like chopped liver last week. I had Jalen Phillips coming back, who I love. Got to see what he's got left in the tank after friggin' Jordan Poyer took him out at the knees last year. And then Bradley Chubb came back, who did have a sack last week. And then Matt Judon's like your 4th guy. Like, I know he's not Matt Judon anymore, but if that's your 4th rusher, that's pretty good, or it's supposed to be pretty good. Just don't have him, on the punt team, because you'll run into the punter and cost you a touchdown. But though that's supposed to be the strength of the team, right? And then Zach Sealer is a really good player. And then we drafted a bunch of rookies in the interior. So Kenneth Grant was a 1st-round pick. He's a big guy out of Michigan. He's body type, composition. They're hoping he's a Dexter Lawrence type guy, like a big guy who runs. Like at one point, he was chasing a guy in the preseason, and he hit 17 miles per hour, and he's about 335 pounds.
Beauty.
Yeah. So, but he doesn't know what he's doing yet, right? And then we have this other guy, Jordan Phillips, who's like this squat bodybuilder. He's supposed to be like shades. He's not like super huge, but he's just like the guy that's hard to move, So there's some optimism. There was, until last week showed up. And then that was the thing. And they were supposed to make life miserable. So I don't know how you're doing with your offensive line. I don't know how Will Campbell looked. I didn't get a chance to watch your game, really, because I went in the morning after the miserable performance I watched. But I did click on at the end there. But how did your offensive line do?
So the offensive line, to me, considering you're going up against Max Crosby and Kuntz on the other side, I think actually held up okay. They had their problems. Will Campbell is a rookie left tackle, and he's going to make rookie left tackle mistakes. And he unfortunately had one series where he gave up a strip sack, and then on 4th and 5 had a false start. So, obviously, he was a waste of a draft pick. He's one of the biggest busts in Patriots history, if you ask most Patriot fans at this moment. Lineman myself, left guard, not a tackle, left guard, but lineman myself. What position did you play in ball, Kevin?
Wide out.
You're a wide out. Okay,
yeah.
So skill guy. So I want to ask you this question, because I said this to Mike, and I don't think he believed me. Because I had to defend Will Campbell a bit, because this kid has been getting trashed. The jump for an offensive lineman from college to the NFL is way more extreme than the jump for a wideout from the college to the NFL. Because if you're fast, you're always fast. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to an offensive lineman to have to learn how to take on, especially a tackle, to take on these edge defenders, to be able to keep up with the speed of the game and learn a professional scheme. Offensive lines schemes in college are way more simplified than the offensive line schemes in the NFL. I think that's the hardest thing for any lineman to do, is switch teams and go to a new scheme, especially when it's a rookie. But you being a skilled guy, maybe you could argue with me. No.
I'd say probably the hardest transition is tight end. But then after that, it's either, you're right, it's either a tackle, it's both tackles, either an offensive tackle or a defensive tackle, I think. Because the edge guys, a lot of it's just athleticism, right? And the DTs, it's about leverage. because now everyone's big, everyone's strong. So it's pad level and leverage and a lot of technicality. But yeah, you're right, especially your tackle. I assume he was lined up against Crosby a lot.
No, I thought they were gonna do that, but they had Kuntz on him and put Crosby on the other side.
It's smart. Who's the other guy?
Moses.
Yeah, it's smart because he's probably going to beat Moses, and then you give the lesser guy Kuntz a rookie, right?
Yeah.
You usually do it the other way because then you're expected to dominate the rookie with Crosby, but then you just put tight ends and chip them and stuff like that. So I think it's smart the way they did it. I didn't realize that. Kudos to them. But yeah, no, it's definitely harder to be a tackle because now you're going against, like, in college, you might see an elite rusher 3 times a year. You got those games against, Colgate Dental School in like week 5 where, you're playing against someone who's like an usher at a movie theater during the week. And then you have a couple of games against Alabama or something like that. So in this, now it's every week. Like Mike Kuntz was like a superstar in college. You know what I mean? Like it's that level. So this week he's going to see either Chubb, he's going to see Phillips, or he's going to see Chop. I would assume they would try and take a look at his tape and see what does he struggle most with. Like if he struggles most with power, then put Chubb on him. If he struggles most with speed, then give him Chop.
Kevin, I always love having you on. I hope you'll come back. I just love you. You know that. I've got a shit ton of travel coming up soon for work, and I will be in Ottawa soon, so I'll hit you up when I'm out there.
For
and
sure.
We'll grab a beer. And good luck next week. Maybe if you're around next week, you could help us break down the game. Are you available next Monday? Yeah? No?
Oh yeah, it's my birthday at the game. Yeah, so
Oh.
I'm sure they'll lay an egg for me. They love to do that. They've never won on my birthday that I can recall, and I've never witnessed them. And my other streak, because I'm going to Buffalo for week 3, because I'm a masochist. I've never been in the building and not seen Josh Allen win. Yeah.
Nice.
Should be good.
Nice. All right, buddy. So yeah, we'll talk next week. Good luck. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon. Kevin Gerard. He's fucking so funny.
I was in tears
So funny.
at one point. I had to mute myself.
Like, he's just so funny. All right, Mike.
Score
That's
prediction real quick.
Yeah. I've got it going. I'm going the same prediction as last week. I'm going 23-20 Miami.
28 for 17.
Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin did nothing to convince me that,
No.
that the Patriots have a chance in this game.
No.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next Monday to break it down. Kevin will be back. This is Dear Pats Nation. I'm Ray. That's Mike. And till next time, let's just do it. Mike, tell me about those Patriots.
They're going to be legit.
Dear Pats Nation, it's just about time. Yeah, we're back. You know it's Dear Pats Nation, Nation, Nation.